You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. Zig Ziglar. Now, I found this quote and I thought this was brilliant, and I think it really does kind of work well with starting strength training, particularly as an older adult. Because I have a lot of people who say that they don't want to start yet because there's certain things they want to get in place, or they want things to be kind of perfect before they then get started. So for example, they might have some ongoing knee pain and they think that they have to wait till they're perfectly pain free in order to then be able to start strength training or doing exercises that involve resistance. And what they tend to find is they wait and they wait and the knee pain never quite settles fully, and they think that it's going to be an issue and it's going to start to flare up if they do more strength training. And then they just get to another point where it never ever is perfect, so they don't ever get started. And what you find is by not starting and allowing the muscles to decondition, the knee pain could actually get worse. And actually, by starting and getting stronger and building some strength in the muscles around that knee, your knee pain actually starts to reduce and you feel better for it, and then you feel ready to progress and you've got the confidence that comes with it. You may well find you've got to adapt around how you get started if it's something to do with pain and anything around pain and mobility and anything like that. Sometimes it's just time of year, or you think you might as well wait till the first of the month or wait till Monday, and if you miss that you end up waiting till the next month. And yeah, you do often just have to get started. It doesn't have to look like you imagine strength training will be at the kind of the advanced ends of it. You can start by just turning up to the gym and doing a few exercises in a very gentle form without really pushing yourself. And just by starting and going to the gym and getting used to the environment and getting used to having a bit of routine, you can then build off that, and then you can build off that further. But unless you make those first few steps, you're never going to get to the point where we're really pushing with resistance and lifting heavier amounts of weight. So that again, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. So keep that in mind if you are thinking about getting started with strength training, or if you've been holding off for a while and you've been waiting for something to happen before you get to that point. So that's that there. So welcome back. This is the 15th live Q&A session that I've ran, and will continue to do so. So it's every Wednesday at 12 o'clock. It's your chance to ask me anything you have about starting strength training as an older adult. So whether that's you've got started and you're just not sort of feeling 100% sure what the best starting point is, or whether you've got started and there's a few sort of little sticking points that have come up. There are no stupid questions. I want to be able to help you get the most out of this. So please do ask. If you're watching this live, you can use the comments feature or the chat feature to ask me questions. Equally, if you are watching the replay of this, then again, still use the comments feature. I do come back and check the comments to see if anyone's left any comments or questions, which I can then answer in a future week. As always, the only one thing I do ask from you, if you were able to make sure that you subscribe or click subscribe at the bottom, or follow on Facebook, and if you could click the thumbs up button underneath the video, that doing both of those does wonders for the YouTube algorithm and the Facebook algorithms, and it helps spread these videos out to more people and the channel out to more people. And if we can, it gives a better chance of inspiring others to get started. So yeah, if you could subscribe and like the video, then I would be forever grateful. But as always, I've come prepared with 3 questions that I've been asked throughout the week, and that's the other option. If you're not happy putting a comment below and you'd rather do it anonymously, then please do send me an email. So it's chris@nevertooOldToLift.com. So chris@nevertooOldToLift.com, as these people here have done. So first question, where can I secure my resistance band to at home? So anyone who's watched any of my videos or maybe gone through the ebook knows that I love incorporating resistance band into a couple of the exercises that we do. So one of the big exercise patterns or movement patterns that tends to be one of the muscle groups that we lose strength in the earliest is the pull based action. So we're pulling something towards us against resistance. a lot of people who are just doing bits and pieces of exercise only do body weight type routines, and the pull muscles are hard to work, almost impossible to work in a body weight routine because you're kind of working against gravity. So the push muscles get used quite a bit, and the squat and the leg ones get worked quite a bit. And even throughout day-to-day life, the squat and the push muscles and those other movement patterns we tend to do quite regularly, but we never really pull anything against resistance. So the resistance band is a great way to be able to do that from home, because the other option is a cable machine in a gym, which understandably people don't have at home. So the problem then becomes with the resistance band is there's not always somewhere obvious to anchor it to so that you can pull. So when I was doing there, I might anchor it to something about arm height so it's secure and I've got either end and then I can pull towards me. But unless you've got somewhere secure to anchor it to, that becomes hard. And at the gym and in the clinic, I've got a squat rack, or I've got a really heavy kind of secure exercise bike, and I've got various options. I can secure it to something that's just not going to move. But at home, there aren't that many options. So you can use the bottom of a banister tends to work quite well because you can wrap a resistance band around it and that's not going anywhere. But the problem is you don't tend to have much space, or some people don't anyway, in their hallway at the bottom or on the landing to be able to perform some of the exercises. Because the other one I quite like is where you pull the band across and get the trunk rotation in. But again, if your arms are straight, you need quite a lot of space around you there. Door handles are something that can be used, but particularly with my doors at home, I'm not sure that I would trust that they would survive for too long if they're constantly being used to have the full tension of the band there. You can use table legs, but again, if it's not a particularly heavy table, the table might just slide towards you. So there's a really simple bit of kit that provides a great alternative to where you can secure a door, an anchor. So you can anchor the resistance band to, and it's called a door anchor. And it's basically a little bit of kind of strapping with a loop around the end with a foam stopper on one side, and you can put the fabric over, or the strapping over the door, shut the door, and the foam stopper gets caught in the other side, and then you can attach the resistance band to a loop. And I've got a video here that will explain that, will help you to visualize it. So that's the door stopper there. So it's a small bit of kit. You can get them on Amazon. I think a 2-pack of them is about £5. I think you can get individual ones there for £3 or £4. And I have put a link in the description below to where you can find them. But you can see you can open the door, shut it in, and it's a lot easier at the top of the door. But you can then find that little loop there and put a resistance band in, and that's a nice solid anchor point, and that's not going anywhere. For a lot of the exercises I do, you want to actually get it at kind of shoulder height, arm height, so you can then slide it down the side of the door, and you can have it at whatever height you want then. And again, nice secure attachment point for you there. And then again, I'll just show you a kind of standing row here where you can put the band there, and then you can pull that towards you. It's worth noting, as you can see with this door, I'm pulling the door into the door frame rather than doing it the other way. And because again, particularly my doors at home and in the clinic there, I'm not sure I would trust pulling it the other way, because it could, if the catch isn't quite sitting flush where the door handle is, it could just suddenly ping open, and then suddenly that door anchor is going to end up kind of shooting towards you. Whereas if you're pulling it into the door frame, there's no way that door is going to suddenly open unless someone's pulling it from the other side. So yeah, if you're looking for somewhere to secure your resistance band to, definitely suggest having a look at those door anchors. Or if you type resistance band door anchor into Amazon, but like I said, in the description I have put a link to where you can find those on Amazon. Often if you get a pack of resistance bands as well, they often tend to include a door anchor in there. And I know a couple of people have seen them and not actually known what they were for or what their intention was. So hopefully that helps if you've got a pack and you've seen that in there and you just didn't know what it's for. I would definitely recommend having a look at that, and definitely recommend incorporating resistance band exercises into your workout routine. In terms of having an idea of what exercises to include in your routine, just wanted to bring attention to a completely free resource that I've got that will help you get started with putting together a workout program with exercises that are you've picked and selected that are going to work for you and your current ability level and any limitations or restrictions of movement that you might have. So if you're been thinking about getting started and you just don't know where to start, this is going to really help you. So it's nevertoaltolift.com/start-here. Again, that link is in the description. But it's completely free download. You just need to put your name and your email in, and that will then get emailed straight over to you. And then you'll get a following email with the accompanying goal planner and workout template that you might need. If you don't like the idea of reading from a screen and you would rather have a physical paperback copy, then they are available. That you can get them off Amazon. So if you just search nevertoaltolift.com, just search Never Told to Lift on Amazon, and you should find the book comes up there. That's the front page there you're looking for. But again, the link I think is in the description below as well to find that there. So I'll come on to my second question. And this is actually someone who is part of the Stronger for Life course that I do. And she said she's in a bit of a motivational slump, having done really well towards the back end of last year. She expanded a bit more. She said Christmas is a disruption for many people, and a lot of people kind of have a few weeks where they're not quite as consistent with everything as usual. And then as she tried to get back into it after that, she fell down with a bit of illness, just sort of normal flu-based, cold-based symptoms, but had a couple of back-to-back ones. And now she's had a bit of a gap, feels a little bit lost without where to go back and where to start, having done so well before, and just feels motivation isn't there. And that's quite common at this time of year anyway, because we've got late night or sort of darker nights, it's cold, it's wet. It can be hard to get back in, and she's asked if there's any tips to how to get back into routine. So what I said to her is the big thing I'd say, if this is something that resonates with you as well, is that we want to make it as less scary a concept going back as possible. So we don't want it to feel like it's going to be a lot of effort to go back into it. So people often have the mistake after a huge gap is they feel like they have to jump back in at the same intensity and the same level they left off at the last good session they had. And some people even think beyond that, they think that they've got to catch up on missed time. So they then try and do even more than they were doing previously, which is probably not going to go down well if you've had a big gap. So you're probably even going to find you're going to have a lot of fatigue, or you could even potentially cause yourself a little bit of an injury because your muscles would have deconditioned if you've had at least a month off. So what I would recommend is starting with half the weight that she would feel that she was using before. That's something that should feel really easy. We're not going straight back in trying to push the muscles to fatigue at this point. We're just going back to go back, and that's our goal, is to go back and do a routine of some form. And what I often say to people is, if you're normally used to doing 4, 5, 6 exercises in a workout, just go back with the aim of doing 2 exercises, maybe 3 sets of 2 exercises, and that's it. That's all you have to do and achieve. And that suddenly doesn't seem like such an effort, and it's a lot easier to go. And what you'd normally find is once you've started doing that, you actually find that you've got into the flow of it, and you actually then tend to find you do the full workout anyway. But it's a little bit, and I mentioned the book last week, The Atomic Habits, or it's called Atomic Habits by James Clear, and he has the same concept as he was writing the book, that he would sit down and just have the aim of writing 100 words. And that was a really easy task to do, and he could tick it off quite easily. But what inevitably happened is when he did 100 words, he would naturally found that he would just continue writing, and he would do several pages of work and potentially even finish a chapter. And it's the same with the gym, is when we're trying to get started, whether completely afresh or whether after a bit of a gap, trying to make it just seem as simple as possible is really going to help. And then you'll probably find that you'll just carry on with it. The other thing that's really helpful is to do things like taking the thought out of it on the day. So if the night before you pack a bag with all the clothes you're going to need and you've got all of that ready, you don't have to then have that one extra thing you've got to do on the day where you're already starting to talk yourself out of it. The other thing is have the plan. So rather than go and think, I'm just going to do one or two exercises, is know exactly which exercise you're going to do. Have a look back at what your weight was before. We've said we're going to halve it already, and write down what weight you're going to use for what exercise and how many sets and repetitions you're going to do. So when you get to the gym, you can open it up and get going. You don't have the thought process in the moment of thinking, what am I going to do? And if you know that's going to come up and you know you still haven't got your clothes ready, the chances are you're going to talk yourself out of it again. So the more you can prepare ahead of time, the less likely it's going to be an issue. And then the other thing is accountability, is trying to tell someone that you're going to go, or even if there's someone else you know that is in a similar position to you, if you can either arrange to go with them or just check in with them afterwards and you're both committed to go in and you're going to give each other updates. Having an accountability partner is a really useful thing, and it's something that particularly helps me with my workouts, or if anything I'm going to do. If I've told someone I'm going to do it, I'm far more likely to, whether if it's just an internal thought that I'm going to do it and I didn't tell anyone else, the chances are I may well talk myself out of it and not go. And then once you've got back into a couple of workouts that went well, you turned up, you got what you wanted out of it, then moving forwards, the next one's going to feel easier and the next one will feel easier. And then when you start to feel the benefits, and I know this person in particular, it didn't take her long to start to feel the benefits of strength training. You'll start feeling some of those benefits again, and that's going to motivate you even more to get back to it. And it's just those first 1, 2, 3 workouts that right now feel like a big mammoth effort. Then the following ones are going to feel a lot easier because you're back in the swing of it. You know exactly what you're doing, what weight you can manage, and you'll see progress again. And it's seeing progress is the big thing there. So before I come on to the last question that I've prepared, if you do have any questions and you're watching this live, please do use the chat feature if you're on YouTube, or the comments feature on Facebook, and I will bring that question up and I'll be able to answer that whilst we're live. But for now, the last question that I've prepared is, what is the best warm-up ahead of a workout? So I'll start by saying what I think the best is and what I would tend to do and I get people to do in the clinic with me, and then some other options that you might want to consider as well. But generally, the best warm-up for an exercise you're about to perform, so say it's a squat and you're going to do with a bar on your back and you're going to work out with a squat with weights, or even if it's not with a bar, if you can do some of the same movement pattern with less resistance and then gradually build the resistance until you get to the weight you're going to be using, that is generally going to be the best warm-up for it. So for example, if I would usually get someone to do a squat with 50 kilograms on their back, I would start off and I would get them to do a set of bodyweight squats. So we're using the same muscle groups, we're getting them starting to get warmed up, getting some blood to them, we're getting the brain to remember how they're working in sync with each other, and we'll do one set of that. Then I might get 20, 25 kilograms on the next set. So we're doing half of what we already know they can do. We're not pushing the muscles to fatigue. We're just getting them used to doing the same movement pattern with a little bit more weight. Then that's normally enough, but you may well want to do another one where you put 35 to 40 kilograms on, and then you work another set with just short of what you'll be using. And then we call it your working weight. You're going to come on to your working weight that you're going to be doing for your 3 sets, possibly 4 sets of that exercise, where you're going to do 15 repetitions. So with the warm-up sets, you don't need quite as much rest in between sets because we haven't reached fatigue yet. So it doesn't necessarily need to take as long to do 2 or 3 sets as it is going to be to do 2 to 3 sets if you're working weight, because you do need those 2 to 3 minutes in between. But that's generally the best warm-up for it. So if you just went for a walk and then you just suddenly went and lifted 50 kilograms, that you've not necessarily warmed up your muscles in the same way they need to be used for the exercise you're going to perform. Same concept goes for if you're doing, say, a shoulder press and you're used to doing it with, say, 12 kilograms in each hand. You might start with 2 and just go through the motions, get the muscles working. Then you might go to 6 kilograms, might possibly do one at 8 to 10, and then you can start on your main working sets or with your working weight of 12 kilograms. Now, other options is some of the cardio machines are fantastic as well to warm up on. I would probably do that in addition to doing the exercises with less resistance. And I'll probably do the cardio-based stuff first. And what I mean by cardio-based stuff is, so you might go on the exercise bike, you might do a walk or a jog on the treadmill, you might go on the cross trainer, you might go on the rowing machine, something similar to that. But the important thing to note, and the thing that some people get wrong, is that you're just purely doing it for a warm-up to get the body moving, get your heart rate up, get the blood pumping, ready for your main focus of that workout, which is your strength workout. Some people will do a cardio session first and treat it as a separate cardio session. So they'll push themselves as hard as they can with whatever aim they've got for that cardio-based workout. And then they'll do a strength workout. So they've kind of come in with 2 primary focuses. And if you're trying to share your focus equally between 2 things, it's going to be split 50-50. Whereas if you were doing a warm-up to prepare for this main focus and 80% of your focus is going to be on the strength training, you're more likely to build strength, where you're less likely to get stronger and you're less likely to improve your cardiorespiratory fitness if you're trying to do both workouts in that same session. So that is a mistake some people make, is by trying to do that too much in the cardio and then try and fit a strength one afterwards. And there's a potential you could even pick up an injury that way. So if you are going to use cardio before, it's just gentle cardio. You're not trying to push yourself and your heart rate to the max. You're just getting it raised, ready for the workouts. You might do 5-10 minutes of something, then go and do some exercises that are the exercises you're going to be doing, but a more gentle form of it with less resistance. They're probably the main 2 that I would do. You might find that if you're someone that has particular areas that feel stiff or restricted, or any particular aches and pains that you have, there might be something like floor-based work, like yoga or Pilates style type exercises that you find particularly beneficial. Then by all means, if you can get your body feeling a little bit more flexible, a little bit more comfortable and less restricted and less painful ahead of going into the strength workout, you're going to get a lot more from it. So that might be good for you. If you're someone who feels pretty supple most of the time anyway, it might not be necessary. Just like with the strength side of things, this is your workout, this is your warm-up, this is your program you put together. So do what feels right for you. These are just a few ideas that you can add in, and everyone's workouts and warm-ups are going to look slightly different. Just try not to compare yourself to what others are doing and feel like you might be doing something wrong. You're doing what's best for you, but it's good to have all the options there to have that. Good. So that is all the questions that I had come prepared with. So again, if you're watching this live, that's your last chance to ask me any questions. So do use the chat or the comments feature. Again, you may well be watching this later on today or in the week. So feel free to write in the comments. I do check ahead of next week. So next week it'll be at 12 o'clock or on Wednesday, which is, what date are we today? 14th. So that is that the 21st? As I mentioned before, it does you a huge favour if you found any value in this or anything I've done. Please do click subscribe and you'll find out about more videos as I put those out. And if you can click the thumbs up button under the video, that'd be much appreciated. And then a quick reminder, if you're looking for some help to get started, then please do check out the Never Told to Lift ebook, and I think you'll find that really helpful in helping you put together your first program and giving you the confidence to get started in the gym. So it's nevertoldtolift.com/start-here, or have a look in the description below. And again, you can find that as a paperback on Amazon just by searching Never Told to Lift in Amazon. But for now, if that is everything, I don't see any questions coming in. I hope you have a great week, and I look forward to seeing you next week at 12 o'clock on Wednesday. Thank you.